Hello again, GME traders, all of you, day traders, long term, whatever. I just figured I'd help out again, maybe. I don't know, for those of you that have been keeping up. Recently, obviously, when DFE sold his calls, I was tracking it, which is available on my channel as well, but I'm just trying to keep up because I day trade it, right? So, current price right now, trading overnight. Uh, it's, brings us back to here. Let's simplify, right? It's just, let's take everything off. This is the structure, on the daily, which is what's relevant right now. Currently, in my opinion, it's holding this area right now, but I don't know how long it'll be able to do that based off the flow. And, there's nothing really going for GameStop right now, especially news-wise. It's pretty just, there's nothing going on. And all the DDs or whatever you want to call them that come out, like, they're generally all pretty bad. This isn't something new. They've always been pretty bad. They've been trying to predict all sorts of things for the longest time now, and I've gotten so many things wrong. So basically, like, the way I look at it is, if I see him holding calls and it's in a value zone where I previously identified, and yeah, take a ride up for a little bit, right? But make sure you get off at some point, or else you're holding on this and then you end up in the red, and you're always chasing to make your money back, essentially. Right now, the structure to me looks pretty bearish. Honestly, it seems like it's the dilution that happened through everyone's plans off, including DFE's, I think. And that's why he flipped the shares, right? It's easier to get out the door, sell a couple thousand, tens of thousand shares here and there. No one's watching the OI on your call contract. It's easier, right? So if you have been paying attention to what I previously shared, and if it obviously interests you, basic structure of using both of the super trends. I previously had this one for 1 hour and this one for 2 hours, and the link for the script is always available I'll put it in the description below. And I had said this before we got to the price action of today, and I was watching on the 1 hour, right? Before we got to this price action, I was saying this one seems kind of like the support, right? And that's why I previously said, when both of them were down here acting as a support, as long as it could break out, it did over here. And, that was pretty decent gain. The problem is it's doing the whole bouncing ball down the stairs that I refer to as GME always being. And now both trends that I was previously tracking for, like, support resistance, are now bearish against it. And if you notice, it's falling out of both trends, right? On the daily, it doesn't look as bad, but these are lagging, on the daily especially. So moving on, I wanted to find what the next, I guess, support was, you could say. And we're already working with the 2 hour here, right? So I pulled up the 4 hour, and, maybe that's where it took off from, back here, right? To be honest, it's looking rough because it seems like it's trading in range here. And yeah, it looks like it could fall down. I have a target down here and a target up here. If it manages to break up above the supply zone, and I don't know, there's a position increase from DFE or something like that, then maybe, But if the supply zone might, I don't know, the way I see it is, I think it'll pop up barely above here, and then it'll get probably sold off again back down. Obviously right now it looks like the trajectory is more downward, right? I would treat this as like the idea, like, is this actually going to hold it? And I feel like we might get a bounce like this, but the problem is then you get these other breaks. So if you notice, it's like a 3 dip right here, and it finally broke down. And if it does that, obviously on this one, then that's the end of that. You can kind of see, I know it's going to look really weird. I'm not trying to draw lines just out of nowhere, but there's like this, something like this going on here. And the reason I bring it up is not necessarily, don't watch this triangle, like don't copy it or anything. But if you notice, that's kind of like what these two super trends are acting as right here. It's just, it's working live, if you will, right? So watch this area right here for a breakout up or a breakdown, right? At some point, it's going to be bouncing really bad in here, kind of like it was with the previous 1 hour. And that's not good, like this. You know, 1, 2, 3, and then both of them are now bearish against it. So, but yeah, if you want to copy, just once my settings are right currently 821 100. This one is 4 hours. This one's 2 hours. You just uncheck the use current time. The 1 minute for the day for today. I wanted to talk about it real quick. And here it is. So it was pretty rough, right? It matched options flow, right? Like you had really strong out the gate options flow over here, which brought it up, right? But then it started getting sold off a little bits at a time. And I noticed there was sometimes, what I've been noticing recently, that there's times where the options will go sideways like this and go stale, is what I call it, which there's not much flow coming in at that moment. And it feels more like it's selling of shares, right? So it broke through the super trend here, tried to break out up here, did a fake out, dumped. Now this is your resistance, right? So boom, slap, and then so forth. We're currently sitting at it. I believe in after hours it got, it's lower than the super trend. This is bending weird in after hours and pre-market. It got underneath DFV's. Most of the pre-market was under DFV's cost basis. So I don't know. I think people should consider this. Obviously, idea of, well, if he's gonna have to start, and I know everyone's gonna make the meme of, oh no, but he says what's an exit strategy, and it's like, I'm pretty sure by now you should all know he does believe in exit strategies because he takes his money at some point. I think he was obviously planning to do something else with his calls, but we also now, based off the E-Trade article and good work by some people that are chasing that data, that he made a significant amount of money in May, right? So he's making money off of this. And I think everyone should consider at some point he is going to find a way out. The reason I bring it up is I had a theory previously. For the 10th of June, he tweeted the unbreakable meme. And you know, this is for you guys that want to read into memes that he tweets. And in that movie, like, not trying to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it, even though it's pretty old now, but Bruce Willis comes out unharmed after a horrible train wreck, right? And it's like, if you go back and look on the daily, here, I'll turn my drawings off. The 10th of June, right there. Like, that's pretty bad. If you notice, this is really bad. That looks like a sell-off of a significant amount. And that's kind of what I'm expecting here at some point. The position's gotta be sold, either by small chunks or big chunks. It doesn't matter, but it's gonna start being sold. So that's what we gotta keep our eye out for those of you still trading GME, right? Currently, I'm watching still the 1 hour. And like I said, I'm using the 4 hour, and I'm trying to do trading based off current flow of the day. And the reason why is, like, again, if we're going to be playing off of DFE, which I don't think anybody should be doing, I've been looking mostly for opportunities on the way down, not on the way up, if I have to be quite honest, right? Here, you know, it didn't even make it up into the supply zone today. This one was the previous one. This one didn't make it, and they got slammed, sold off, right? Slammed down. So, like I said, 1 hour, and watch the daily flow. See what's going on with that. And again, use this as your wedge, triangle, whatever you want to call it, but at least this is a live moving one, even if it's a little lagging. But you'll see either a break up here or a break down to here. I don't think it'll stay at 1596 if it breaks to the downside. I think we'll get like a nasty dip somewhere down there, and then it might bounce around down here in the like $18 area for a bit. But that's the bearish scenario. The bullish, again, I don't even see 39.50, 39.05 anymore. I think maybe somewhere into like 30, like literally flat 30 area, which you know, everyone's always going to scream foul. But even the most recent DD, like many of you guys that are new to this purchase and aren't bag holders from the previous generations, don't know that the person that is being pushed right now is DD, the Biggie character. He was a previous DD guy for BBBY, pre-bankruptcy, and he was trying to convince everybody to get on all that. And well, we all know how that worked, don't we? So definitely be careful who you listen to. And that was being pushed around Superstonk and a couple other GME communities and subreddits, so be careful what you buy into. Remember, it's your money at play. Remember, DFE takes money, right? He takes money out off the table. You should be too, especially if it's green. The whole cycles and all that stuff, the FTDs aren't even significant anymore comparatively to what they used to be before, like previously. So I think that's more of a moot point. And this is someone coming from someone that's, you know, looks into that. I don't really think they're as significant as they were previously. The ETF theory is ridiculous. It's been going around for a while. XRT's been as high as 1,000% shorted and nothing's happened. You know, they just cover days later. There's not even a significant amount of GME shares in there. Last I checked, there's like 450,000, if that. So here's comparison. Here's OBV that people, you know, the conspiracy folks like to use. And here's an oscillator version that I use that gives me a little bit more of an idea of what's going on. Like when the buying's over and the selling begins, I guess you could say. And the reason why is because this oscillator, like I've said before in the past, is has issues when there's super large buys like there was in January 2021, because it doesn't like reset afterwards. And again, you can go look up the history and the literature behind on balance volume and find all this. I did a previous post and video somewhere. I'll look for it and try to share it in the description. But moving on. So if we use this, you know, the buying currently is nowhere near as large as it was back here. I previously said that I didn't think it was energy like January, and so far I think I'm right. It felt more like February or like around June, right? February going into March or June area. And currently the way I'm looking at it, it feels more like June, like based off the height of the moves and things like that, right? So if you notice, it's been on a selling, right? Even this oscillator, when you zoom in, shows it. If you guys want another one for reference, that's pretty neat. Will be the traffic lights, right? It's in one of those Donchian things. But anyway, what I want to get at is this is what you got to pay attention to. The movement is not as big as it used to be before. Some people have gotten burned on this. Some people have learned that, hey, day trading it's better, or swing trading it, but not this. I'm going to stay in it forever. The whales are kind of flat or exiting. Here's currently top call, and top put contracts from today, right? And if you look, honestly, there's nothing special going on here. There really isn't. Before there was way bigger amounts of money being moved. Now the biggest you have is 22 strike, 2 mil, 628 currently. Yeah, calls took up a little bit today. We go to open interest, here's the full board. New date coming up is 7/19, right? And people are starting to pile into that, but if it's not in 3 days, it's 7/19, and if it's not 7/19, they'll tell you some other date. If you keep listening to the DD authors and all that. Here's the OI for 628. At any time, you can pause the video, do whatever you need, right? And here's the one for 7/19. And honestly, again, it's just people chasing their money that they lost, which is unfortunate, but like I said, the reason I brought up the other thing is I don't know if he'll tweet this time when he leaves, quote unquote. I know there's the ET tweet and a couple other things, but I don't know if he'll continue because he's been a little bit more under a spotlight this time, and we'll see what happens. I'm not trying to predict a person, I'm just trying to see what I see in the stock and how I can make money out of it, right? That's honestly it. So I leave you guys with this. Like I said, I feel it'll be bouncing around here. If it does a clean break up here, I don't think it'll gas up, maybe in the 30 area, but honestly, everything's falling down. The flow, even when it comes in pretty strong, is not like before. We'll see. He still has a sizable amount of money to be able to move around, but he's also got to currently think about this position that's currently under fire, I guess you could call it. One more thing we'll look at: the famous dark pools, right? Let's go see what's going on here. So if you look, yeah, we haven't really had any dark pool trades since the 20th right now. Not of any significant value, at least. So again, it is what it is. Right now I would be paying attention, like I said, to it seems like it's tracking the options flow a little bit more recently. So I keep an eye on that if you're definitely swinging or day trading. Again, the whale map is looking pretty grim. You got these 30 calls exiting, right? This is the aggregate, by the way. So, but yeah, I wish all of you luck. I hope the best for you.